The ball joint press arrived. It's hard to believe this thing was $900. The one from the Matco dealer is just like it. So this is actually a knockoff, but same price, but it doesn't come with all these cups for different ball joints. But this is pretty nice. The other one's just a big C-clamp thing, and it just could not. I just couldn't get it to work. But this has got an extra leverage. Just the way it works here with this actuator here, it gets more leverage because of this fulcrum point, I guess. How many tons? A shitload. So yeah, overall, I still like this. This has served me well. Plenty of jobs, especially for F-150s, cars. This one, this Ram diesel's on a whole nother level. If you're researching this video, you probably know why, but I did try heating them, heating the ball joints, tapping them, all kinds of hammering them, and then I finally just broke down because I had this thing apart. I couldn't tow it or anything. I'd have to reassemble it with the bad ball joints, and I just bit the bullet because I'll have some other projects building, you know, probably rock crawlers and stuff. This will come in handy. It's a nice little press, but it is made for specific cars. Like I said, it does have the proper plates and this little instruction sheet that shows you each manual. So yeah, the Ford, the Dodge, and the doesn't have. Oh, there's GM. So it looks like GM only has one style. But yeah, so it shows what cups and what not for the ball joints, and it actually works. So I'm pretty impressed. Like I said, 15 minutes to remove and install each ball joint, and I was dinking around with the camera, and you could probably do this in I'm not exaggerating, in less than an hour. And when she goes, you knows, because it makes a heck of a racket. The other thing I noticed, these pins here, these little drift pins, well, got like a little ball nubby in there so they don't fall out, but they do want to wander, and it's a possibility they could pop out of there if you're not paying attention. And also these are greasable, which is nice. And this other end here, it's like a dowel end. You can actually separate it. I didn't know that. It was just in there firmly, but so far so good. I think I got the rubber still on the part of the seal. Won't be a bad idea to wear hearing protection. I might have got the other side by just the 1/2-inch ratchet. I don't even think I used anything else. Craftsman. I suppose keep the old feet clear though, because this thing is heavy. Of course, I got my safety Crocs on. When she goes, there ain't no doubt when she pops. So yeah, really impressive. The instructions are great. What has it been? I don't know, less than an hour, 15 minutes, a ball joint at most. Half of that time was spent just looking at it and making these videos. All right, guys, well, it did it. It's scary as hell though. I got the Mac Daddy, you know, it's not a great compressor, but I mean, this is a Mac, you know, $500 impact. All she could do, got it under tension, heated it up again. So under tension, I just gave it a wrap with that mallet there, and yeah, it popped out. thing can do. 150 psi. It's a lot of pressure. Look at that. Needs a little wrap. Later. So that one came out. Impact is nice, just to get you in the ballpark, I guess. This one didn't get that ridge like the other one. Standard caliper arrangement, 1/2 inch or 13 millimeter, 2 caliper bolts. I had these off not too long ago because of I had some drive, what do you call that, axle shaft, U-joints, axle joints, whatever. And I replaced the hubs and rotors. Ideally, just do all this at once. I'll probably have to do shocks next, but it wasn't in my budget. I was going to get some Bilstein, whatever, 5200s or whatever they are. Seems to be like the way to go. I tow camper. A couple different campers. Tow is like a dream. This Cummins, you can't even feel my newer COVID trailer, but this one here I can feel. This one's an older, like a 96 or something. And it weighs like 13,000 pounds. I can feel that behind the truck, but I got a 5th wheel for that. The other one, my other tow hitch one, I think it weighs 8,000 pounds. I mean, I go through the mountains. I don't even use the brake. I just use the engine brake, and I've never once used my brakes. Hardly ever towing unless you come to a stop sign. 18 mil to take off this bracket. So I can take this rotor off and then get at the hub nuts or the wheel bearing nuts. Okay, so that just comes off. I've had this off, like I said, not too long ago. So my other one was rusted down pretty good. I just sprayed a little deep creep or what's that, penetrating oil, PB blaster. You need to put a light coating of stuff on your anti-seize so it won't stick. But otherwise, you can come through the back with like a 4x4 post. Just give her the nuts. It comes right off. So these are, I think, God, I want to say they're Centric or something. Whatever Rock Auto sells, the drilled slotted economy. This has been sitting for about a month, so got a little cleanup here, pitting. But this is how they looked after about a year. I don't know what I just said, but I've had them about a year. It's been sitting a month, but these are about a year of wear. And I did take like a trip through the mountains a while back, but this isn't real super deep of a channel. So eventually, I mean, those things are not gonna do much. I don't know what. Well, I guess these are actually drilled all the way through. These here are just, I don't know what they are, but they don't really do a whole lot. Maybe throw the stuff, the asbestos in someone's face. Okay, now up until now it's been pretty straightforward. The only thing keeping this axle on is the hub, the bearing hub assembly. So there's 4 bolts. They're all the same size, and it's a square pattern. So there's 2 on this side, 2 on this other side here, and let's see what size they are. I'll just take a guess. Looks like that'll go on there. Well, that's not even a bolt. Okay, so yeah, I remember these were a weird size. So 17 millimeter is pretty common. These are 18 millimeter. Those hub bolts. So there's 4 of them, like I mentioned. So you want to take all of them, take most of them out. All 3. There's 4 of them. So take the bottom 2, and then the one towards the driver's side. The top ones, I guess, both the top ones you can leave loose. Back them out about. So I have about maybe ½ inch of threads left here. You can see these threads. So this is what we're taking out, is these 4. That's the bearing hub assembly. I think I got Moog. So far so good. So we're gonna take this, either take that sensor, the ABS sensor, off there, or just unplug it right from here, because that's gonna come with the hub assembly. So you got these goofy, everyone loves these connectors, they're so great. Being sarcastic. So yeah, I just disconnected there. That's how this one comes with this installed, and it was just wrapped around. So, but what I'm getting at is leave these, back these out so you can see it's still in there, and then they sell this tool. I don't know, I got it from Rock Auto or Amazon. I can't remember, Amazon maybe. I don't know if there's a part number. It's a hub remover tool. Anyways, you stick it. It's a flange flare bolt kind of a deal, so it'll sit on the flange of the bolt, and you can actually turn the wheel. I don't think I'll need it again this time because I just had these off last year, but it just kind of sits around the bolt like that. So it's sitting on that top, it's sitting on the shoulder of that bolt, because it's a flare bolt. So it's a bolt with a little flare head on it. So this thing fits, this cup fits around that flange, and it's made for this specific operation. I mean, it looks almost like a air chisel tool or something, but it's not. I suppose it could be, but so it sits there, and it's meant so when you turn the wheel, it'll jam up right here on this piece and help push. Since this is loosened a little bit, it'll help push that off the steering assembly, this knuckle, whatever you want to call this, control arm. I don't know what this thing's called, but it'll separate the 2 pieces. This here is this hanger is a Mopar part number. I found it in the garage, extra sink parts. So yeah, straight on, deep well will work back here if this is straight. This hub should be pretty straight because it's easier to get all these. And I'd turn this and show you the creaking sound I have. I think I have a video of me going on this road, but I can't even turn it right now. It's locked up from sitting. So this will come off with this piece. Like I said, that's how it works. And so yeah, the hub comes with new studs and everything. Take orientation of this. I remember last time I put this together, I couldn't remember if the shield was facing forward or backwards, and I lost track of which was left and right. I didn't mark them or anything, but now I'm just going to keep my pile left, right. And I'll refer to this video. I had to refer to my video to see how this thing went on. I kind of forgot. It probably only goes on one way, but just trying to figure things out. You know, it's nice just to take pictures. So I got this all disconnected, because that comes, I suppose you could fight this and risk breaking it. I'm just disconnecting mine right from the terminal there. And then I'm going to get ready to pull this hub off. Like I said, I put anti-seize on there, but you can see these backing off here. So I don't want to take these all the way out in case I need to use that tool. These top ones, but these bottom ones I'll just take all the way out. But you can see what I was talking about. This, leave it about like that, a couple of threads exposed, and the bottom ones just come all the way out. I suppose you could rock them back and forth if you had to. You can do them all this way, I guess. Just leave them all partially out maybe, but just remember that you can't refund it too much with the with the wheel because it might, I don't think it'd break anything, but I know I need to give her a mallet. All right, so I'm getting separation pretty easily. I just lightly tapped. Well, I mean, if it's factory, you probably won't have that luck, but like I said, since I NAC'd this, I actually can get a screwdriver or a pry bar in here. I'm just gonna take it easy and wiggle it off this side, that side, work my way around. So I'm taking my bolts all the way out. All right, so that's gonna come off. You can see I NAC'd that last time, and as well as right here, you can see it. That's why this is separating. Now there is a seal here. We got to kind of support this. Once this comes off, that's gonna flop. So this is what's keeping that bearing's keeping that true. So we got to really be careful taking this shaft out of here, this knuckle, because I don't want to mess up that seal. I don't have any leaks. I'll see how pliable it is. Maybe I'll get a new one. I don't know, probably not. So this is actually coming off the spline. Now you may have to soak yours or heat this up. I did use I think I did use a big giant puller on this to get my old one off, but I knew I wasn't reusing anything either. I don't know what would happen if you try to drive this in towards the the front axle. Might be bad, I don't know. But there you can see I'm getting separation there. This is ready to come apart. I gotta set the phone down though. So that's what that looks like. Now this axle will come right out. I think, what did I do? Yeah, I replaced these U-joints. I think that's the same one as the drive shaft. I think they were all the same. So I think this truck takes like 6 or 8 of the same universal joints, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to put the phone down. I'm going to support this back here and weasel this axle out of here so I can replace these beautiful, stellar ball joints. So this is what the driver's side looks like. The other side's shorter, or longer. This one's shorter on this side, but it takes the same joints. They're not too bad. I think I took a plasma cutter and took mine out last time. I'm gonna set this so it doesn't get all dirty. Okay, I gotta take the 2 cotter pins off the top and bottom castle nuts. So, and then let's see what size these are. 2 different sizes. One, the top one's smaller. The top one is a 15/16. And I don't know what the bottom one is yet. For this top one, I'm just going to go through this opening here. Well, maybe you don't know. Some people don't know this. But most sockets are made, or if we don't have clearance one way, if you turn the socket 1 notch or 1 position over, like for instance, I don't know, put this on a certain way here. Like let's say it goes on like this, and that's all the clearance you get. If you turn it a 1/4 turn, you might get a little more bite out of it. Like there I got it. Actually, that was a good example. So now I can turn it more and get a ratchet on there. Smart people probably realize I should have been on this side because it's upside down. But same theory. This is actually really loose. So I gotta make sure that bracket goes back on there. Looks like that's part of the system there. It's kind of odd. Yeah, so I took my axle off, and those U-joints, these front axle joints, are probably less than 2 years old. What time flies. I haven't greased them, and they're actually bad. They need grease really bad. They actually don't even go in one direction. They're seized up, so hopefully if I... The grease circuit was really weird as wide, and this is a really stubby, weird grease circuit. I didn't have the right kind of needle for it. So that's off. So it sits in there like that. Now this bottom one. Alright, so this bottom one is 1 1/8. Must have bought this for some other reason. I don't know why. What the fuck? So that's on there pretty good. So I'm gonna have to use the old Persuader 2000 here. Tell me you guys haven't done this. Alright, so I think that worked. Let's see here. Yay. Now, theoretically, I should spray this with some penetrating. Looks like they give you a provision to pound on here. I'm sure that's why that's there. So this should fall off. Alright, so I think I fixed it. I just gave her a few whacks with the hammer so I can put this back together. Safe to say the top one was my problem because there's no clearance, there's no bulge from grease, or that seal's just blown out. This bottom one, I actually kind of have been greasing it every so often, a squirt or two, and it does take grease. So that's probably this top one, which is, I don't think there's a grease zerks on that one, but so I might have to put some heat right here and right here to try to expand that just a hair. And I really don't want to pry in there, but I'll probably get a pry bar also, and then start hammering. Just the straight hammer didn't work. So up until now, this is what I've got. Take the hubcap off, lug nuts, there's factory 15/16. That also takes that bracket off, the caliper bracket. And then the brakes are 1/2 inch or 13 mil. Breaker bar, 1/2 inch. Just a regular ratchet, something, either a needle nose, or I just found this first. Take the cotter pins out. I think 18 millimeter for the hub bolts. This tool, if you want to use that, and then to take the hub or the axle nut off, that's 1 11/16. I think it might be metric too. And then there was a washer that goes behind that axle castle nut also. I don't think I showed that in the video, but there was a washer, or do you like to say washer? I don't know where it is. So someone explained to me why would anyone even think about doing this? I mean, come on. What kind of fitting is that? So hopefully this is the same size. I stole this out of my ball joint. I'm gonna get out of there, but hopefully I can take this, whatever this is supposed to be, this needle. You're supposed to use a little needle, like a basketball inflator. Come on, man. Ridiculous. The ball joint press arrived. It's hard to believe this thing was $900. The one from the Matco dealer is just like it. So this is actually a knockoff, but same price, but it doesn't come with all these cups for different ball joints. But this is pretty nice. The other one's just a big C-clamp thing, and it just could not. I just couldn't get it to work. But this has got an extra leverage. Just the way it works here with this actuator here, it gets more leverage because of this fulcrum point, I guess. How many tons? A shitload. All right, guys. Well, it did it. It's scary as hell, though. I got the Mac Daddy, you know, it's not a great compressor, but I mean, this is a Mac, you know, $500 impact. All she could do. Got it under tension, heated it up again. So under tension, I just gave it a wrap with that mallet there, and yeah, it popped out. thing can do. 150 psi. It's a lot of pressure. Look at that. Needs a little wrap. Later. So that one came out. Impact is nice just to get you in the ballpark, I guess. This one didn't get that ridge like the other one. This one's just, she's shot. Both these top ones are totally locked up. So I had a bunch of creaking, if you see my other video. Alright, so the top configuration, just same parts, just reverse it upside down, I guess. So the cup goes on the top, and then the pusher has a longer end and a shorter end for the ball joint to fit through there. The other side came right out, no problem. I didn't even use the mallet or the air, but it didn't pecker it up. That's a wider, looks like a wider bore. I'm gonna clean that up, and I'm trying to sell my house, move to Arizona. And when she goes, you knows, because it makes a heck of a racket. The only thing I noticed, these pins here, these little drift pins, well, got like a little ball nubby in there so they don't fall out, but they do want to wander, and it's a possibility they could pop out of there if you're not paying attention. And also these are greasable, which is nice. And this other end here, just it's like a dowel end. You can actually separate it. I didn't know that. It was just in there firmly, but so far so good. I think I got the rubber still on the part of the seal. Won't be a bad idea to wear hearing protection. I might have got the other side by just the 1/2-inch ratchet. I don't even think I used anything else. Craftsman. I suppose keep the old feet clear though, because this thing is heavy. Of course I got my safety Crocs on. When she goes, there ain't no doubt when she pops. So yeah, really impressive. The instructions are great. What has it been? I don't know, less than an hour, 15 minutes, a ball joint at most. Half of that time was spent just looking at it and making these videos. Alright, I don't know, I don't usually buy Dorman stuff, but these are ball joint kind of deletes by Dorman. They're pretty inexpensive, but my Moog ones aren't worth the crap, so I'm going to try these. I'm not going to buy the Carly expensive things either. So this is inboard, so these marks will go facing the coil. I guess it's for swing angle or something. It doesn't say that anywhere in these instructions. Well, there are no instructions, but that's That's what I know is inbound is towards the center of the vehicle. Alright, so pressing these in, I had to get it started, and I had to use my super clamp and kind of cob something together to get it started about maybe a 1/4 inch. And then this big tool fits in there, and I can just tighten this. This actually goes in with just a 1/2 inch, not even a 12-inch ratchet. The old Mac Special, best ratchet ever. So there's the upper installed. So the upper cups use the same cups to install and remove. Now to install the lower one, I'm going to use this cup E, it says. I don't think I use this to take them out. Alright. Seems an absolute dream. This new tool. So yeah, again, I just tightened it mostly with this 1/2 inch ratchet, then I moved to the breaker bar, spun it around. There's enough clearance here to just flip it 180 and keep going. And I mean, a little effort, but I got enough to get the snap ring in, and looks like it's seated up in there. So I'd say the main thing on the Dodge is this angled axle thing, so that's why they've cut this notch. Now, so if you are working on a Dodge, if you have the Harbor Freight stuff, this is what they did. This is their solution. They just notched it so it fits flat in there. You know what I mean? Because this thing's tapered. So I'm not exaggerating. With this tool, it's less than 15 minutes to remove and then 15 minutes to install. So without doing this video, you could do this whole remove and install in an hour. I'm pretty sure without doing any video. It's pretty quick. Now, from what I can tell, there's no left and right hand side, but they do mark these things. So with this one, I'm not crazy about that grease position, but it should be still fine. But the other one is more centered. But when they paint those things for turning radius, evidently they're in there at an angle. That's the way this one worked out. So I'm gonna put that snap ring on, and then like I said, I just put that cast on it on there so I don't lose this stuff. It'll be a few days. All right, boss, I got my upper and lower ball joints in. It's nice and quiet. I just gotta stick my axles in, but that tool worked amazing. That thing's a lifesaver. It was just butter putting them in. I mean, you could do this whole job, and what actually did take me probably a half hour to take them out and a half hour, well, 15 minutes each, put it that way. All right, so there's another tool I have, this Tiger tool, I think it's called. Yeah, Tiger tool. It's for doing U-joints. 1-year-old Moog. It's a Force. How is it? All right, I had this on my Ford, this Tiger tool for U-joints. I don't think it worked as good as it did on this Dodge, but maybe it's just made better for this particular situation. But yeah, 1-year-old, less than a year old Moog U-joint. This is a 364. I don't know, back in the day maybe they were good, but part of the problem is I noticed this design has a different kind of a greasing system than any one hand. I did everything one hand, you know. So I did get the same one. I had a spare, but is this one different now? Oh, yeah. I was looking for the grease, and most of the ones have a grease like right here in the crotch or the valley, or here. Well, here they put this grease fitting right on one of the caps, and guess what? It ain't worth a shit. For one thing, they give you this jicky jack needle style piece of crap, so you can't even put a grease gun on it. You got to use a needle, like a basketball inflator type needle valve. How many people have that in their toolkit? And another thing, I'll just go up to the old Advance Auto, O'Reilly's, wherever. I'll just buy a different grease Zerk. No, wrong. 1032 threads. Go, yeah, research that one. So I think I spent 30 bucks on a couple brass 1032 Zerk fittings to come overnight, so I could get my truck back together. But what a piece of shit. I mean, really, for a premium ball joint, you can't even give a proper grease fitting, and plus the location of it. How is this going to even work? I mean, for evenly distributing. I mean, I think that's why the rest of the world actually puts it in the center, so it distributes it out evenly. Now, so we've got to go through this cap, and where it goes beyond. Matter of fact, I think I will take this one apart to see what happens. But look at this. Year old. Not even. Less than 5,000 miles, put it that way. Oh, so anyways, after my rant, this is how that tiger tool goes on. Just slides over. There's really no moving parts besides this thing here, but nothing comes out of here. It just hit this face here, makes contact with the other part of the joint, and it just kind of separates the two. You'll see how it works here. It's pretty simple, actually. Seems kind of weird, like it wouldn't work, but it does. Johnny one hand. Just grab a vice grips and pop them off from there. Yeah, so in less than a couple minutes, I mean, I got this taken apart. Now, granted, I did have it apart about a year ago. But look at that. I can't believe these things. They're like worse than my originals. So here you can see the factory grease they put in there. Now, it's possible I didn't put enough grease in these things with that funny Zerk, but it looks pretty lubed up. You think they'd last more than 5,000 miles. I mean, it's not chintzy grease. They put a fair amount of grease where they were, you know, suctioned down there pretty good. And I was also thinking, God, do these have to go on a certain way? Like, was the one, gotta make sure I clean that off, the one cap with a hole in it, does that have to match up with one of these here? But then it looks like they all have holes in each one. And then there's no, I mean, there's this protrusion. They must use the same casting for when they do it the right way. Who knows, but I don't even think I want to get a greasable one anymore. All right, let's take inventory of where we're at here. So, half of the bottoms are torqued. I believe it's 35, like 65, 70. Then you go back and do like 140, 50 on the bottom again. Get your cotter pins lined up, put in your pins, and then, of course, don't forget your tab again. It goes in the facing towards the back. And this dust shield is oriented like this. If you don't remember, it's towards the front, and it dishes towards the center of the vehicle. If you put it on backwards, your rotor won't go on, obviously, because it'll be sticking way out here, and that thing's pretty dished. Where is it? It's dished pretty bad, so you'll notice it right away. And it's just, I'm not saying I ever did it, but you'll have to take these 4 bolts out and then reverse it. It is counterintuitive because it doesn't look like it'd fit on that way, but it does. That's the way it goes. Okay, it's basic stuff here. This is what I do to the dual calipers. I just use a C-clamp and whatever. Piece of steel I couldn't find. Use angle iron, anything that fits in there. And just to move those back before you put the brake stuff on. But here's the orientation of the driver's side. Moves freely, spins freely. Passenger side orientation with that bracket tab, like I said, and make sure this doesn't rub. There's a little tab for that ABS sensor in there that sometimes rubs. If it gets bent up, it'll rub the rotor. So I'm not sure why you tuned into this video, but just in case you're trying to figure something out, maybe you mismatched parts or got the two sides mixed up, this is what the caliper mount looks like for the driver's side, the orientation. I don't know if it's symmetrical or not, but it might be. Let's see if there's a casting number if you want to look at that. But that's the tab. I get mentioned several times. Don't forget that if you're doing ball joints. And then this dust shield's a big common mistake, just from when I was doing my research, that sometimes people reverse it. Now, I've never done that. Once or twice. And you just have to take the hub back off if you do that. And now look at this goofy stuff, and the trees are just blooming here. And it's like all kinds of seedlets or whatever they are. Oh, they sure do make a mess. And then the cottonwood. God, look at that. Nasty cottonwood. But here's the other side, the passenger side. This has been sitting for about a month. So they're starting to rust up a little bit. But this is the orientation of the passenger side. And you can see that tab just holds the ABS sensor, and it just follows the brake line up to the connector there. But yeah, we'll see how these Moog parts hold up this time. So I really don't know what's correct in the old automotive world, but the little squeaker deal for low pad squeak, since the rotating assembly, the rotor is generally, you know, going down the road in this fashion, I would think you'd want it to be on the trailing edge versus the leading edge, because if I put this thing on this side, I mean, is that thing going to catch on? Is that little tang going to catch in one of these grooves or raise hell? Probably not. It's probably softer metal, but why not just put it on the trailing edge? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that up top there like that. So that's how I do it. I just put I had this apart last year when I did I had a failing axle shaft joint, and it's because I didn't grease it after, what, 2,000 miles. It got water intrusion. I didn't put enough grease in it. So this time I greased it, so it just barely puffed out. So I don't know. And that's what I do with the caliper, to squash them back. And then that just slides on here, and we're ready to start working on this front end. So here you can see we've got a full range of motion. It's not tugging. It's not too taut. So I kind of adjust these proud towards the front. Give a little more when it's turned inwards. So it all looks good. Then it just plugs in up there. Alright, so I'm getting ready to do the steering linkage. So obviously my steering box and the rams is over here, so it goes in like this, I believe. Could be wrong, but I think that's right. So I pre-measured from end to end tie rod, whatever this bar is. I'm assuming this is just called the tie rod. Just one, and then there's a trailing arm, or maybe this is the tie rod and that's the trailing arm. I have no idea. But anyways, I measured it because it is adjustable for alignment purposes, and it's within 1/4 inch actually from center to center. And of course my new one has greaser fittings, which is nice, so I'll be greasing everything on this truck, I guess, as long as you remember. So I'm just gonna slap that in there and see what happens. I mean, that could not be any easier. My steering wheel's still straight, and my wheel's relatively straight. So what's this, 11/16? 13/16, pardon me. 13/16 socket is what the castle nut is. It actually looks like this one's towed in a little, so I might be right on. Alright, so this socket for the tie rod ends and that steering arm, pitman arm, they're all 13/16. 78 foot-pounds. No, I lucked out, I think. Although I didn't pre-measure, that one's just a little sloppy. I wasn't sure what my problem was, so I just ordered a bunch of parts. So this one's towed out just a hair, it looks like, just by eyeballing it. And this one looks like it's towed in, so I think I'm going to be, if anything, maybe the wheel's going to go a little to the right when I'm going down the road. I'm not sure. But it's actually pretty straight, so I didn't move at all. I didn't even lock it down. The steering gear kind of stays where it's at. But with the factory shipped Moog control arm and all that, it's actually pretty close. Good enough to drive, I think. So I'm just going to 78 foot-pound these things and then put my wheels on, do a road test. I don't want to sound like I know it all. I just kind of do my own work. I have since I was a kid, starting with my 79 Mustang Indy pace car. And I put a 351 Windsor in it, little torquer, and that was, boy, that sounded good in the nice catless exhaust in the car wash. I had so many compliments on that little chugger. But anyways, I don't know where you're at with your skill level, but I'll show you. I'm going to use a torque wrench. A lot of people don't. They just know the torque, and you can get pretty good at just guessing, but I'll show you in case you never used a torque wrench before. What the heck? So this is the most common torque wrench. It's, I don't know, $150 Craftsman. But on one side of the device tool, you're going to see foot-pounds, as you can read there. And then the metric is Newton meters. So the idea is these little gradients there is wherever this black sleeve is here, this collar most have a locking mechanism, so you have to unlock it to spin this handle. And that handle, when you spin it, it's going to go up and down the scale. And I'm going to do 75 foot-pounds, so that means a little gradient there. See these little angles? Starts off at 150 is the maximum you can use here, and this handle would have to go all the way up that way to get 150 foot-pounds for spec. So I want a 70, so it looks like I have to go to that little line right there, and then so that's 70, and then you just keep turning this handle, and these are 1 through 9 increments. So at this line I'm at 74 right now, so I'm just gonna keep it there, and then I'm gonna lock this. So then you just keep tightening. Try to do it long strokes. You don't want to like come back and have to re-torque. See there. Once it clicks, then you can maybe give it one more click, but we have to find a hole here for the castle nut for the cotter pin. So you can see I got a little bit more. I really don't want to back that off, so I'm just going to go a little further to get to that next spot. And this does not have a two-part. Sometimes you do a pre-torque and then a torque, like these ball joints had a pre-torque. So I'm going to see this castle nut has to go. I have to move it a little bit more there. You can use some paint marker, I guess, or some kind of method. So there, I'm pretty lined up. I'm gonna call it good. Johnny on the spot here, so may as well cover the grease guns. So if you ever get a fitting where this just won't go on, it's probably too tight. There's little jaws in there, kind of like a cordless drill or like a drill bit. So this is made to actually move. So you have to get a wrench or pliers on there. You can adjust this in or out. So out is loosening, and in towards the coupler here or towards the hose is tighter. So if you get one that just kind of won't go on there, you have to kind of see if it's going on all the way and it's loose, or if it's not going on at all, it could be too tight. And just adjust that. And then of course you don't want to over grease these. You can see I did my ball joints just until grease started shooting out. Now these new ones are probably better rubber than the olden days. You could actually blow these out, and you could probably blow these out too if you go too crazy, but just kind of keep an eye on them until they start to bulge out and they're holding plenty of grease. If they're flat and compressed, there's no grease in there. That's probably a sign of being bad. Same with the other side. And then I'm going to wrap this up. Also I got to tighten up those this assembly. So right here, that's how you adjust your alignment right there. Those bolts, I got to tighten those up. You just turn it in and out to get a toe in or toe out, and I got to tighten those bolts, and that's it. The beast back together. Ball joints and all that tie rod stuff is all I did. God, look at this dirty, nasty cottonwood. Probably notice I don't put myself on camera too often. I'm not really one of those selfie people, but my name's John. I live in Minnesota. I'm going to be moving to Arizona, and I got a camper and some land. That's all I'm going to need. So thanks for tuning in. I just like to thank the viewers, and I will be having some videos regarding building we're going to call it a barn dominium, mainly my shop first, get the well in. Fortunately, I live by the little Colorado River, or will be, so water should not be an issue with the water table. And it's at 6,000 feet, so I'm not down in the valley where it's dry and they have water issues. So I'm really looking forward to that video series. You'll probably see me and my son and I building our cabin / barn dominium, and then a chicken wing restaurant. So stay tuned for that.